And happy February. I just wanted to quickly let you guys know that while I was shuffling, these two cards popped out, and this is all about a change in the way that you see yourself, the way that the accomplishments that you've made, the empowerment steps that you've made. There's going to be quite the change, and it's going to be an ego change. It's going to be pretty drastic. It's going to be like, okay, I've worked really hard. This is what I've accomplished. I feel amazing about it, but it's like, this change is really going to throw you off your feet, so to speak. It's going to feel like you're being smoked out of a situation, but keep in mind that everything happens for a reason. So if this is going against your empowerment and your sense of well-being and your sense of self-worth, recognize that this is all going to advance your inner work, which will empower you in the future. Because sometimes we need to kind of take a step back. We need to be knocked on our asses and our crown of ego knocked off us just to kind of reassess where we're at, because we can get so big-headed, right? So I'm just going to leave these cards out, and I'll give these one more shuffle. Okay, and I'm going to get started. So, the situation that we're talking about for February 2017 is this constant focus on finances, especially when it comes to home and family. You know, I have a Virgo who told me that charity begins at home, which is really an interesting concept, because I find that when we give too much at home, it ends up not being appreciated, it ends up being expected, it ends up being like, well, that's your job, you're the mom type deal, and we form resentments. Okay, so maybe charity doesn't begin at home. Maybe charity is really just spreading that out. And a lot of times it's not even just finances. It's just giving your energy, giving your compassion, giving your forgiveness. That starts within the family, but then it's a lot easier to give the money, the coin, when you're giving something so profound and so pure at home. It's a lot easier to give something more materialistic and tangible outside of the home, okay? So that's the situation right now. It's just February is... Virgos are always really thinking about their finances. They have such a crazy fast brain that is constantly moving, constantly working. So I can totally understand why finances is one of those things that you guys are constantly thinking about. An obstacle and an aid is just to kind of go with the flow. You know, the moon ebbs and flows. So recognize that, yeah, finances come and finances go. We have to kind of treat it like an energy that comes in and out. When we get attached onto finances and money and stuff and material things, it devalues our own purpose, our own spirit. It really takes away from our source in a sense, because we're too focused on the tangible and not enough intangible spiritual focus, okay? So use the lunar phases to bring in more cash flow, to put out money. You know, the full moon is on the 9th, and it's going to be a really nice one because it's the first one, it's the second one of the year. So it's going to be very nice, and we want to use that full moon to release, okay? We want to use that full moon to let go of any fears, any biases, any beliefs that we've turned into fact about finances. The most common one I find for Virgos is that they believe that you have to work hard for money, and I'm living testament that that is not true. If you're doing what you love, it's not going to be hard work, and you're definitely going to make money. And that was what a Virgo told me, oddly enough. You know, they're amazing at giving advice, but taking it is a little bit harder. Fair enough, fair enough. Recognize that, yeah, we don't need to revert into our shell and be in a constant state of work. We can really just let it ebb and flow and recognize that finances will come in, finances will come out, you know, situations will come in, situations will come out, a new payment here, less payment next month. We never really know. So let's just treat money like the energy that it is and let it flow, okay? Subconsciously, definitely time to party, definitely time to let loose. You guys have been optimistic lately, so it's a good way to kind of take your hair down and just let loose and have a good time, because your subconscious mind really wants some fun. Working too hard, not playing enough. You know, you need a tune-up. You need a spiritual tune-up, and a lot of times the best spiritual tune-up is just to go out with some friends and laugh at the most random thing. Just laugh to laugh. Okay? So thinking thinking really new, thinking about maybe I could get onto this emotional newness, but there's still some stubbornness. There's still some pullback. You want to definitely focus more on the emotions, but in the past, that didn't serve you well. It was too unpredictable. It was too rocky. Virgos are extremely analytical, so when they can't put logic and reason onto emotion, they don't own it. They say, well, they get detached from it, but realistically, in order to see the beauty, the true beauty of life, and to see the world in rose-colored glasses, we need to recognize our emotional side. Another thing I'm feeling is fish. This is the second time I'm seeing fish today, and it's making me think that either if you guys have been eating too much fish, to cut back, and you'll know if you've been eating too much fish, of course, or maybe it's time to incorporate fish into your diet more so. Maybe have less of a I can't really say meat, like a meat-free day, but maybe, bring fish back to Fridays, just try it out, especially whitefish. It's really a good source of, you already know this. You're a Virgo. I know that I don't need to talk to you about health. Like, you got this. So something in the immediate past that just passed, something was revealed to you, especially over the last full moon. It was revealed to you in a partnership that maybe the abundance that you thought you were going to be gaining through this partnership isn't there, and there's just not an equal balance here. So the next new moon, which will be in 4 weeks, well, 2 weeks after February 9th, sorry, I don't have a calendar or anything, that next full moon will really allow you to kind of work your way through these issues, okay? So one line at a time. I'm seeing a corn on the cob, but when I think of corn on the cob, the way that I eat it, it's one line at a time, like a typewriter. So just take your time, recognize that maybe this relationship, whatever was revealed, yeah, that's one situation, but it doesn't need to affect every other area of that relationship. It could just be that one situation. The money's not there, the abundance isn't there, let's move on. There's no balance, okay, let's move on and try and find that balance, okay? And using the new moon and the full moon is an excellent way to just feel more connected to yourself, feel more connected to nature, and just feel more in tuned. And when we're in tune with nature, it's our spiritual tune-up. Like I said before, it's kind of what we need in order to progress. We go back out into nature and we align with the lunar and the sun phases, and we just feel more connected. It's kind of like how we feel on our birthday, because on our birthday we're recognizing that the sun has done a complete 12-month cycle. So even just that acknowledgement that I'm celebrating the day that the sun came back around, the day that where my sun was when I was born, that's an excellent way to connect to nature, because it's just that acknowledgement of it, of its power, right? So it's simple things like that. Maybe get a lunar calendar and just see what's working for you. I'm finding that, on water sign full moons, it's raining and I'm more emotional. Maybe you can work with those energies. Once you start to track it and realize that, okay, when it's a full moon in an earth sign, I'm way more driven. So you'll know that when the next full moon in an earth sign is, you can really get some work done, okay? And you can plan and push off until that full moon in an earth sign to really get some work done, okay? So future card, definitely a new outlook on the finances, but that new outlook is only going to come after a new outlook on your emotions. Like I've been saying before in actually pretty much every one of my videos, is that our emotions are directly linked to what we're manifesting. If we're manifesting from a place of poverty, from a place of lack, from a place of greed, guilt, envy, jealousy, ego, any of those lower vibration feelings and emotions, we're only going to be manifesting things based out of that. You can't birth a positive situation out of a negative thought. And those thoughts come from our emotions. Like, it's all completely related. So I really do feel I'm urging Virgos to recognize that their emotions are wreaking havoc on their lives, because a lot of the times it's a vicious cycle. Why don't I have this? You get upset about it. And then because you're upset, you continue to you get less and less taken away from you, because you're coming from that place of poverty, from that place of lack. So definitely go out, have some fun. Laughter is always the best medicine, especially when it comes to your spirit. Go out, have some fun, and be in the present moment. Try and turn off that brain of yours. Oils are an excellent way to keep focus and clarity. Peppermint oil is an excellent one to just, lift to get you back into the present state of mind. you right now are at a standstill, and it's a needed one. It's that inner work that's needed. People are really looking up to you, wondering what your next move is, wondering what are you doing? Are you going to make a move? They're kind of hoping and wishing that you make a move. I'm sorry to say it. You know, you've built yourself up, but it's kind of like you're really stubborn right now. You have a closed fist on a situation instead of letting it flow. This is something that maybe needs to be flowed through your life in order to create that sense of balance again, because I have my Venus in Virgo, so I am absolutely feeling this sense of imbalance that Virgos are having, and definitely wondering about the accomplishments that have been made, and wondering if it's time to move on, proverbially, without having to face this drastic change, okay? So I know what you guys are feeling. Friends and family taking way too much, and like, they're happy to do it. They're happy to take from you without feeling bad about it. They don't even recognize your feelings and emotions about it. They're happy to do it because you've allowed it for so long. You know, when you let people constantly take from you and you don't see their true shade, you don't see their true colors, they laugh about it. They feel like it's oh, they don't mind. That Virgo, they don't mind. They're happy to do it. They're workers. They're so giving. Yeah, absolutely. My husband and father-in-law, Moon in Virgo. My husband's also a Virgo rising sign, and he lives to serve, and he loves to do it. He loves to give back. It gives him purpose. He loves to make dinner that's all the vegetables and the beautiful fruit and nutrients, and he loves to serve that with love, and doesn't even matter what he cooks, it always tastes amazing because he's putting his love into it. But of course, like someone like me, I'm a Libra, like I've said before, I sit back on the couch, put my feet up, and I just get served like a queen, and it starts to form resentments because he starts, well, when are you going to cook dinner? You know, so don't allow these people in your life to keep taking from you, even though it makes you feel good a little bit, you know, in the long run. If you're not being appreciated for what you're giving, then it's just not helping anybody in the long run. So give to those that are appreciative. Give to those that see the sacrifice that you're making by giving, because it's not always easy to give. So if you're definitely giving from a sense of sacrifice, I know that you can point out the people who have been taking from you and that you think have been even taking like your sense of freedom, even taking a change that you wanted to make. You feel like they're imposing and impeding on that change. You know, you can point the finger at that person. It's fine not to place blame, but it's fine to recognize what they're doing and to stop that. You know, it doesn't have to change anything. It doesn't have to mean anything more than just, you're taking too much, I'm putting up my boundaries, no more. It doesn't have to be a fight. It doesn't have to be a breakup. It doesn't have to be a separation. It could just be a few words of, listen, this isn't sitting well with me. Please stop. Okay? And that'll really give you that sense of empowerment back that you feel like has been drastically taken from you. Hopes and fears. So you hope for some balance in your life, absolutely, but you also fear it. You know, what happens when you start to take? What happens when people are giving to you and you're not giving to them? What happens when there's a give and take balance? Recognize that that's a fear, but also recognize that the universe has provided more than enough abundantly for everyone. When you take from others, when they give to you and you take from them effortlessly, you are releasing a karmic debt. You know, a lot of the times I feel really awkward when it comes to somebody paying for me because I feel indebted to them. Like it's a root thing. It's a root chakra thing where I just feel indebted to them, where I feel like our relationship could not progress until I wipe that debt. Sometimes I just need to pay it forward and say, thank you for buying me that coffee. I'm going to buy a coffee for the next person in line, something like that. But without that balance, there's too much debt, there's too much resentment, and then that leads to animosity, okay? So recognize that the true path to enlightenment, the true path to some sort of relief and some sort of happiness is to just give and take. It's okay to take. Another thing I noticed with some Virgos is they'll ask for the most outlandish things, almost expecting and wanting you to say no. It's like, well, let me put up the most impossible obstacle just so that when they say they can't do it, I can be like, knew it. I do everything for them. They don't do anything for me. So recognize that there's also a balance when it comes to the give and take. There has to be an equal exchange. You know, you buy a coffee for someone and expect them to, you know, service their car for free. It's not an equal give and take, okay? So final card, I'm loving speaking with you Virgos today. I feel completely energized talking with you guys, so that's why I'm kind of rambling on. But the final card is partnership. So definitely feeling that taking too much is within the partnership. It's an egoic thing. It's something that you want to kind of say no more to you. You want this person to put his hand out to put their hand out to you. The male in the situation, you want him to reach out. The female in the situation, you want her to kind of become more receptive. So within that partnership where there's no unity, where there's no balance, that's pretty much going to continue as it is. You know, unless you start making those emotional changes, like I said, that newness, maybe starting with a change in diet, bringing more fish into, more brain food in, will kind of make, you know, maybe your emotions a little bit more easier to see, a little bit more dignified, a little bit more lined out for you. And this is going to lead to that new sense of empowerment when it comes to your finances and your sense of self-worth. So, like I said, these two cards popped out. Drastic change when it comes to your empowerment, what you've worked so hard to do. You know, you really laced up your boots when it came to this job or this accomplishment, and you worked hard for it. And this change pretty much says that all your hard work was in vain, essentially. Either somebody took the credit or they didn't give you enough credit, but it's time to move on from that, okay? It's time to move on and recognize that you're only hurting yourself and those around you by not being happy, and recognize that you are completely in power of manifesting the life that you want. And how people treat you is a direct relation to how you allow them to treat you. And how you allow them to treat you is how you feel about yourself. How you allow others to treat you is pretty much telling them what your self-worth is, what you deserve. And if you're allowing people to take from you unjustly, take without giving, without even appreciating, without recognizing, without that balance, you only have yourself to blame. Blunt truth. You only have yourself to blame. You know, we are in charge of ourselves. We are on authority. And if somebody is not treating us the way that we deserve to be treated, we have to say something. We can't expect them to just come around and be like, you're right. I'm not going to take from you anymore. They'd be crazy too. Why would somebody stop taking things when it's given out with love, when it's given out freely, when it's given out so often? Why would someone? That's just my personal opinion. Maybe I'm a selfish, greedy Libra. Who knows? Who knows? I'm just letting you know that as a Virgo, sometimes people can't be what you are and what you want them to be, okay? Virgos serve. They are here essentially not to serve, but to work. They're workers, and some other signs, some other people just don't have that. They weren't born with it. So we can't fault them for that. We just have to appreciate that the only reason that you're in their lives is to show them that selflessness and to show them to give to others freely. You know, we all have a purpose. We all have a path. A lot of the times, a sign will come into a family in order to help that family. Like for me, child of divorce, separation. So I'm a Libra. I came into my family to show them how to work well harmoniously in relationships. My sister-in-law has no earth in her chart at all, so she has 2 earth kids. You know, to kind of bring her back down to earth in a way. So recognize that you absolutely have a purpose in your family, in your friendships, in your life. 100%. Recognize that purpose, but also recognize that other people can't necessarily do what you can do. So show them what's right. Show them the way, okay? Hope you guys have an amazing February. It was lovely talking to you guys. Thank you so much for the comments, likes, subscribes, and shares. It truly, truly means a lot to me. I'm having such an amazing time doing these readings, and I will be back in March. So have a lovely, lovely month. Love you guys. Bye, Virgo.